In this video, I will go over the quiz graphing square root graphs. So in this quiz, we're going to graph a square root, and we got to find the domain and range in interval notation. So what we're going to do is first, before we graph this, let's write down everything we know about this graph. So if you compare it with the parent family, what does the x plus 4 mean? It just means you have a horizontal shift of 4 units to the right. What does this -3 mean? It means you have a vertical shift of 3 units down. And then what is this 1/3? It's a constant and it's outside, so that would be a check. I forget. Okay, so it's outside. It's 1/3 is technically less than 1, right? 1/3 is about 0.3. So it's less than 1. So what that means is it's a vertical shrink. The vertical shrink. Okay, so how are we going to do this? What we're going to do is pick 3 points from the parent family. So so the parent family is this one right here. So we'll pick 3 points. If you plug in 0 into this function, you get 0. If you plug in 4, you get an output of 2. And if you plug in 1, you get an output of 1 as well. Excuse me. You can use other points but I chose those points because I don't want to deal with decimals. Okay, so now let's graph with the 1/3 in it. So we could call it g of x or g 1/3 square root of x. So what does that mean is that is a vertical shrink, and all you got to do is multiply the y value, the y coordinates by 1/3. So for example, 0, 0 will still be 0. Because if you multiply 0 by 3, 0 by 1/3 is 1/3. If you multiply 4 and 4, 2, and that would be 4 times. So what is 2 times 1/3? I believe it's 2/3. Let's just write 2/3 right now. And what about 1, 1? That would be 1, 1/3. Okay. Now let's graph the one with call it h. Now let's include the x plus 4. So it's going to be 1/3 square root of x plus 4. So what that x plus 4 means is a horizontal shift of 4 units to the left. So what that means is you're subtracting 4 on the x coordinate. So 0, 0 will now be -4, 0. 4, 2/3 will be 0, 2/3. 1, 1/3 will be, you subtract 4 on the x. So 1 minus 4 is -3. Okay, and then finally the one with the -3, so we'll call it, what should we call it? We'll just call it the final graph. Okay, so what that means is you subtract 3 on the y value. So always go from the previous, so this one and these ones and this one you want to use. So you subtract you subtract 3 from the y coordinate. So -4, 0 will be -4, -3. 0, comma 2/3. I need an actual number, so just go ahead and put in 2/3 minus 3. So that's like negative 2.3, right? What about negative 3, comma 1/3? It would be negative 3, and then you subtract 3 from the y, so 1/3 minus 3 is negative 2.66. So I'm just going to round it to negative 2.7 because I need to graph it. Okay, so let's plot it. So keep in mind we're in increments of 1. So yeah, so negative 4, comma negative 3. So that's really 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4, down 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? 0, comma negative 2/3 is so 0, and then negative 2. Here's negative 2, and then 0.3 would be right a little bit not exactly halfway, but above there, right? And then negative 3, comma negative 2.7. So 1, 2, 3. And then negative 2.7 is 1, 2, 2.5 is here, right about here. Okay. So it would look something like this. Slowly increasing slightly. Okay, so based on this graph, what can you say, what can you determine our domain was, B? So it looks like our smallest x value is at, this, remember we're going increments of 1, so this is really negative 4. Negative 4, and we include it, so it bracket negative 4, and then to infinity. What about our range? What is our smallest y value to our largest y value? So my smallest y value is at, I believe it's going to be at negative 3, because this is your starting point, your vertex, right? So you include it, and it'd be negative 3, comma infinity, because it slowly starts to increase, and then parentheses. And that is your graph, that is your quiz. I mean, that's how you would graph this. Now, you do have the option of graphing it 1 by 1, so yeah, I didn't, yeah, you don't have to do this, but I'll just do it real quick. So if you graph if you graph the parent, 0, 0 would be right here, 4, comma 2 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then 1, comma 1, 1, 1. Okay, and then if you graph, then if you plot 0, comma 0, 4, comma 2, let's use 0, 4, comma 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, comma, oh, my bad. It's these ones, 0, 0, and then 4, comma 2/3. What is 2/3? 0.6, so like 0.7. And then 1/3 is 0.3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 0.7 would be right about here. And then 1, comma 0.3 is right here. And then 0, 0 is right about here. Okay, so this is going to be this is like g equals 1/3 square root of x. And then this one, what color should we use? Let's use green. Negative 4, comma 0 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2/3. That's 0.7. So it would be right about here. -3, 1/3 is so -3. 0.3 right about here. So it would look something like this. And then your final one is this y. Whoops, let's use green. It's darker. Y equals 1/3 square root of x plus 4 minus 3. So you see how I did that? I picked 3 points from the parent family and then just do the add-ons. That's how it is for all the other graphs. Like you're gonna learn about graphing absolute value, the cubic graph. It's the same concept. You're gonna have horizontal, you're gonna have vertical, you're gonna have stretch, shrink, and reflection. So you just pick 3 points from the parent and you just go from there. It's a lot easier than making a table. Okay, so that is for your quiz.